Hello, this is Nikisha Brown. I'm actually doing some extra credit on the weekly reflection. I'm doing the optional one, which was from Northhouse 10.5 Reflection and Action Worksheet on page 275. So it says for us to write a brief response to reflection 3 and one action question of our choosing. So I'm actually going to respond to question 1, 2, and 3 as one whole inclusive answer. Based on the score you receive on the Building Community Questionnaire, how would you describe your attitude towards outgroup members? Number 2, as we discuss in this chapter, outgroups run counter to building community in groups. How important do you think it is for a leader to build community? One way to engage, outgroup members is to empower them. How do you see your own competencies in the area of empowerment? What keeps you from empowering others? Okay, so we're going to go back to about the questionnaire. How do you describe your attitude towards outgroup members? Discuss. I actually feel like I'm very understanding and sympathetic to outgroup members. I feel like oftentimes I am an outgroup person because I am very opinionated and analytical. Sometimes I think too much, overanalyze things. And sometimes when you're placed in groups, they just want to get it done. Either you're there because you're forced. It's either a retreat or a seminar or a class. And most people don't want to be there to begin with. So I find that they just want anything that's going to get it done, that's going to smooth it up fast, get at you to break. If I have a question or opinion, you're seen as the villain because you're stopping down the progress or the flow. Also, if I'm in a group setting in which everyone gets to vote, I'm going to vote on what I truly feel, and I'm not going to just vote with the consensus of the group. And sometimes that ticks people off because, again, they feel like you're not even so much you're stopping progress, like it's something personal to them, but more of you're slowing down the day. Where if you just go ahead and agree with everyone, you can get over it and get done. I find that that does a disservice to people because then you're not getting what the purpose of the test or survey or the question or the project is. If an employer is trying to get feedback on people's opinions, on things they feel can be changed, need to be changed, ideals, I feel like that is the forum to give those ideals. And you're doing a company a disservice, which indirectly does yourself a disservice. So as far as outgroup members, I sympathize with them and I am also empathetic. Sometimes there is someone in a group who kind of does seem like a troublemaker, and it's more than just they're opinionated or they're vocal. Sometimes they're just anti-group or they're anti the setting. And that becomes counterproductive when we're all here trying to complete a goal or we're serving a purpose. We're trying to work together and you just have someone else who's just, no, no matter what we're discussing. It's almost like they don't care about the success of the project. It's more about standing off because you can stand off. And it makes me think about when President Obama was elected president and some Republicans said no matter what he proposes, no matter how good it is, no matter how it could benefit the nation, we're going to go against everything. And they did. And they stopped a lot of good bills from being passed because they were being stubborn. So that's what that makes me think of. How important do you think it is for leader building community? I think it's very important for leader to build community because you want everyone to feel like they're part of the team. You want unity. You want trust. People want to be able to count on each other. If you're in a group and we're all given an assignment or a portion of it, you want to know that the person you're working with is going to hold up their part. They're going to be as committed as you are. You want to know they're going to encourage you when you're slipping. You want to know that you're in a safe space and that whatever you speak on or decide is not going to be held against you as far as your relations with your employees or your employer. You want to know that it's not going to be a hostile work environment because you gave your opinion, which may not have been the popular opinion. So I think it's very important for a leader to promote community. I think that you get more bees with honey. So with that being said, happy workers tend to be more happy performers, more productive performers. I feel like show your employees that they're valued. Show them their worth, even if it's someone who's a little different. Highlight their difference. especially if it's a productive one. Even if it's not the main focus of that goal, still, I think it's important for a leader to find a strategy that includes that person so that not only they feel part of the group, but it's also shown, hey, they have good ideas too. They have values that they bring as well, so that everyone can appreciate everyone in the group. One way to engage out group members is to empower them. How do you see your own competencies in this area of empowerment? What keeps you from empowering others? Okay, I think that I am very empowering just for the simple fact that I'm not shy. Like I said, I'm outspoken, but I also believe it's important to not be rude and not to be pushy. Not everyone wants to know your opinion. So I kind of try to save it for the setting in which my opinion is wanted, in which it is my time to bring up ideas. Because I am very vocal, when I'm in a group, people then tend to come to me to be the leader or the facilitator when we do the final presentation, because I'm not shy. So that kind of rubs off on other people, even if that's not what I'm trying to do. And I've had people tell me, you give me life, or, because you're so positive or energetic, it makes me feel better. I have people who tell me, hey, because you come in and you wear makeup, it makes me put on makeup. So that's very encouraging to hear that you encourage other people when I'm having a bad day or something and someone says to me, hey, thank you for being here. We really appreciate you. That lets you know that you do have value, even if you're not seeing your own value that day. And I try to pass that forward to other people. I try to use that to encourage my coworkers if I see someone who not their self, or they're down, or they're have low self-esteem about themselves or their work. I try to uplift them by complimenting them. First of all, I let them know I see them. You're here. You're a person. You're valued. Then I compliment them on something that they have going on. Not just an obvious thing like, oh, you're pretty, or you're this or you're that, but something that they might not even know is a value to the company. I try to help them deep and see themselves in a different way. Sometimes just a change in your attitude changes your attitude, which changes your attitude. That then changes your performance. Changing your performance then changes your attitude. It's like, it's hard to lose weight because you got to lose weight to lose weight. But once you lose weight, it encourages you to lose weight, because you've already started that process. And I think that I'm good at that because I try to look at things from every angle. Like I said, I tend to overthink things. I try to look at how everyone involved would feel. I try to filter out something that could dissuade or turn off anyone, or if it comes out in a negative light, I try to reword it. I try to, if I have to pick between two different words, pick the word that's the least possibility of being interpreted the wrong way, or as offensive or disrespectful. I feel it's best to try to get everyone in a group to go to be a cohesive unit, and we're not going to all agree. We have individual minds, and I believe that a group is supposed to have a safe forum in which we all can give our ideas, and maybe you might change someone's mind, but you have to open your mind before it can be changed. With that said, you might not change your mind after you hear what someone has to say. That's okay too, as long as you open your mind to consider it. And so I think that's what I give as a leader. I not only to empowering people, I like to encourage people. I like to celebrate people. I like to be objective towards people, as well as compassionate. Now, as far as the action items, okay, using items from the building community questionnaire as your criteria, list 3 specific actions you would take that would show sensitivity to intolerance of out-group members. So I put action item number 7, on that page, on the building community page, number 7. When making a group decision, I always try to include the interaction of out-group members who have different points of view. No, I don't think that's quite what it says. Number 7. When making a group decision, I always try to include interests of members who have different points of view. And so with that is kind of what I was already saying. I try to make sure that your opinion is heard, because even if it's not what my opinion was, you might enlighten me on something new, a different way to look at something. I experienced that in my last leadership class that we took, where hearing someone's opinion may have been not radical in a sense. This was like night and day to yours, but not radical in a sense like, oh my God, it's so crazy or stupid. And it made me say, I still don't agree, but damn, you gave me a different way to look at it. And I feel like that puts more tools in your toolbox. And then so we had number 8 was the other one, which says trying to reach consensus. No, that's not the one. Number 9, I place a high priority on encouraging everyone in the group to listen to the minority point of view. So I felt that one was very important, because again, we have to consider something other than our own. We can't be stuck on just our idea. If so, what's the point of a discussion? What's the point of a project? You can just do it yourself. You can just write it in your own journal. You send your own email. I think it's important to hear someone's point of view, even if only 1 or 2 people agree with it, so that one, they are included and they are heard. And they don't feel the pressure to just conform to the consensus of the group, but 2, so that we also can learn something. That's our opportunity to take away something we didn't have with us. Again, even if it doesn't change our point of view, it might strengthen our point of view. When I was on the debate team, part of our technique in debating was not just hearing arguments that coincide with our argument, but hearing the opposite argument, which strengthened our argument because it gave us something to rebuttal. It gave us something we had to research. How would I answer if someone came at me like that? Kind of like playing tennis. You don't just want to play someone who hits it right in front of you where you can spike it. You want to play that person who might hit it way over in that corner pocket, so that you can practice going to that corner pocket and you have a response. The third one was number 3, building a sense of group unity with people who think differently than I is essential to what I do as a leader. Yes, because again, as a leader, I can learn. Being a leader doesn't mean it's because you know everything. It means you know some things, you're open to other things, and you may be skilled or have the potential skill to take those things and be able to lead other people, to uplift them, to complete a common goal for the company or the organization. So yes, it's very essential that I hear other opinions from people who think different than I, because I'm not the only one in this world. There's not just Nikishas, and my brain is not like mapped and copied and blueprinted and put in everyone else. So I have to know what other people think, so that when I can respond to them accordingly, I can be respectful, I can have an answer or a knowledge of whatever it is that they're talking about, depending on what the subject is. Plus, I want them to feel like they're important and they're valued just as much as I am. Just because I'm the leader doesn't mean I'm better than them. Okay, so number 2. In the last section of this chapter, 6 strategies for responding to our group members were discussed. Rank these strategies from strongest to weakest with regard to how you use them in your own leadership. Describe specifically what you could do to become more effective in all 6 strategies. Okay, so for these strategies, I didn't really rank them as far as strongest to weakest, because that's suggesting something's wrong with one more or better than the other. I ranked them more just in order of the natural flow of how I would approach an out-group person. So it's pretty much almost exact same as the order was presented, and I suspect that it was presented in that order for a reason. 1, listen to out-group members. 2, show empathy to out-group members. 3, recognize the unique contribution of out-group members. 4, I would put help out-group members feel included. 5, give out-group members a voice and empower them to act. And then 6, create a special relationship with out-group members. Okay, so I feel like for myself, the first thing would be to listen to them. You listen to anyone, but I specifically want to listen to an out-group member, because they may already be feeling a certain kind of way about being in the group. They may be feeling shy or intimidated. They may mentally check out. And that might be the opening to save them and bring them in. At the very beginning is your opportunity. Like the old saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So from the get-go, when a group starts, the meeting starts, you might have some dominant members who are out talking everyone or just spilling their opinions out. And I want to, as a leader, control the flow of the conversation to make sure it's a circular movement where every opinion is heard. Where that outgroup member's opinion may be heard before the responses of what everyone else has said, so that person's initial opinion is heard in its pure form before their minds start altering based on the responses they're hearing from other people. Because sometimes when we hear an opinion and it's so left from ours, we start questioning our opinion or what we felt to begin with. So I want to listen to that out group person to hear where their point of view is when it's raw and it's fresh. I want to show empathy to them and show them I understand. I understand them and I feel for them. And I want them to feel a part of the group. That it's important to me that they feel safe and included. Recognize the unique contribution of the outgroup members, because even if it's not what I would do, what you're doing is still helping us. So what I mean is you might have someone who's very outspoken where everyone's shy, great. You might have someone who's the techie person, the person on the computer, the facts person, the figures person, great. You might have someone who shines in front of the crowd when it's time to present. Not everyone has that trait. But you might also have someone who don't mind doing the research, who don't mind making the agenda. They may not say anything during a meeting, but they're good on the computer. They're good at printing out the data we need. They might be good at PowerPoint or Excel, stuff that none of us know how to do, even though we feel like we're geniuses. So I want to recognize the contribution of the outgroup member, every member, but especially that person, so they can know your piece of the puzzle is just as valuable as everyone else's piece. They will help outgroup members feel included. It's going along in the same lines. Just, we're glad you're here. We couldn't do this without you. Give outgroup members a voice to empower them to act. So giving them a voice means if they're not able to get their word in because everyone else is taking up the time or dominant, I'm going to make the time for them. It's a learning process. So each meeting you're going to adapt and you're going to alter it based on the needs and the goals of the group. So I might select them first. I might select people as opposed to letting people raise their hand or just speak out. I'm going to come up with a diplomatic format so everyone is heard, but specifically the outgroup member, but so that they're not on the spot, so that it's not they have to feel bad or they feel like they're rocking the boat. And then create a special relationship with the outgroup member. I think you need to create a special relationship with everybody in your group, but specifically the outgroup member, so they can know that you do care about them as a person. You care about their contribution. I might set up a one-on-one with everyone, so even that outgroup member doesn't feel like they're being isolated and pulled to the side in front of everyone. Hey, I'm meeting with everyone, but it might be so that I can specifically meet with that person or persons, so that I can hear them in their raw form, because sometimes people communicate different than when they're in a group. They might give me some ideas in that meeting or open up more than they do in the group. So I think it's important to give them that forum, even if they don't say anything, for them to have a safe spot. Also, if they know we're meeting, they might come with notes. They might jot some things down. So if they're shy, if they're not comfortable, this might give them a little comforter blanket because they have it written down already. And the last one, imagine for a moment that you're doing a class project with 6 other students. The group have decided to take a vote to do some fundraising campaign for the local Big Brothers and Big Sisters program. 2 people in the group have said that they are not enthusiastic about the project and would rather do something for an organization like Habitat for Humanity. While the group is moving forward with the agreed upon project, the 2 people who do not like their idea have started missing meetings, and when they do attend, they are very negative. As a leader, list 5 specific actions you take to assist and engage this out group. Okay, so as a leader, I'm going to start by listening to their idea. I'm going to see if there's any way that we can even incorporate what they want into what everyone else wants. Maybe it's not that hard. Maybe it's just, maybe they're not even saying it the right way, or they're saying it the right way, we're not hearing it the right way. So I'm going to listen to them first. I'm going to consider what they're saying. I'm going to, if it doesn't work for what we want to do, I'm going to explain why that doesn't work and maybe give a chance to revamp the idea or come up with a different suggestion. I'm going to also go back to that first group and see if there's a way where we can revamp their idea so we can incorporate the two ideas together. I'm going to also let that out group member know that I care. Actions you would take this as out and engage. I will let the out group member know that I care, and that even though this idea is not working this time, it's still on paper, it's still being considered. I might meet with them outside the group to kind of try to figure out where they're really coming from. Is it about the idea or is it about something else? If it's two of them that are posseed up and being negative, I might meet with them separately, because it's power in numbers, but I want to separate the pack. Maybe one member is not even trying to be standoffish. They're just going with the flow. Maybe they already know each other. Maybe they were anti the project to begin with, or anti the group. So I think it's important to get everyone separate to see what they're going to say and come up with a plan. Hey, what can we do to get this project done? What is it that you need from me? Okay, they may say, take my idea and dump everyone else's idea. Well, I can't do that if only 1 or 2 people out of 10 don't agree. But what elements of what we have agreed upon, what elements can be enhanced by your idea? So I'm going to try to keep inclusiveness. I'm going to try to keep integrity across the board. I'm going to try to decipher, are these people being negative or are they just being different from the norm? Negative is a strong word. And I take offense when people are saying you're negative. You might not be being negative. You might be pointing out a negative thing. And there's a big difference. And I'm hoping the skills that I have and the actions that I have described are useful and helpful going forward in my future. Thank you.